Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 129th Commencement of Tiffin University. Out of respect and honor for our beloved institution, we thank you for remaining standing for the academic procession. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the singing of the national anthem.
You may be seated. Welcome to Tiffin University's 129th commencement ceremony. Congratulations, class of 2017. Today is your day. We are here because of the achievements and successes while at Tiffin University that you have all had. We are so very proud of each and every one of you and hope that you know that you will always be part of the Tiffin University family. Today we have several folks in attendance with us that deserve special recognition. We have parents, we have grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, significant others, children, and friends of today's graduates. Graduates, these folks have supported, they've encouraged you, and they've been with you in so many different ways. I would like all of these folks to please rise so that the students and graduates may thank you for their support and guidance. Please do so now. Thank you. Also, our faculty and staff are here. Graduates, these are the people who have challenged and supported you. They have served as your mentors, directed your learning, challenged you to do your best beyond your expected potential, and inspired you to succeed and strive for lives of professional and personal excellence. Faculty and staff, I would like you to rise so that we can all express sincerest appreciation for your dedication, talent, and professionalism. Many members of Tiffin University's Board of Trustees are also here with us today. These women and men provide overall vision and support to execute our goals and our strategies that continue to make Tiffin University strong and successful in all that we do as an institution of higher learning. I would ask all of our Tiffin University board members, past and present, to rise so that we may recognize you for your many positive contributions. We also have several members of the class of 1967 that are here with us today in celebration of their 50th anniversary. Please stand to be recognized, class of 1967. Our MBA program has been delivered in Romania and Taiwan, and several graduates have traveled all the way from those countries, in particular Romania, to participate in today's ceremony. Also, a number of our students are from other countries, and they've enrolled here with us each and every year at Tiffin University. Would all of today's graduates, who are international students, representing at least 21 different countries, please stand and be recognized. There are also a number of people here today who have served or are serving in the U.S. military. Would everyone who is a veteran or on active military duty please stand so that we can thank you for your service to our country. We are also honored to have Senator Sherrod Brown with us in the audience today. Thank you, Senator Brown, for being with us. I would also like to thank the vocal and instrumental musical groups for their contribution to today's ceremony. They always do a phenomenal job for us. Please give them a round of applause. Okay, are we ready? On with our ceremony. Today is your day, Tiffin University graduates. Always remember what Mahatma Gandhi once stated to us: if you choose to, you can be the change you wish to see in the world. Congratulations to all of you.
Good afternoon, graduates. My name is Claire Johansson, and I serve as the chair of the Board of Trustees. And on behalf of my fellow colleagues who sit behind me, we want to congratulate all of you. It is now my distinct honor to introduce this afternoon's commencement speaker, Ms. Connie Schultz. As an award-winning journalist for nearly 40 years, Ms. Schultz's writing has been widely recognized for its humanity, its empathy, and as being a positive force for social justice. Growing up in a working-class town of Ashtabula outside of Cleveland, Ms. Schultz was the first member of her family to go to college, earning a degree in journalism from Kent State University in 1979. After working as a freelance writer for many years, she served as a reporter and columnist from 1993 to 2011 for the Cleveland Plain Dealer. She is currently a nationally syndicated columnist for Creators Syndicate and a faculty member in the journalism school at Kent State. In 2003, she was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize in Feature Writing and won the Robert F. Kennedy Award for Social Justice, reporting for her series, The Burden of Innocence, which focused on the wrongful conviction of Michael Green. Mr. Green had served 13 years in prison for a rape he did not commit. The week after Ms. Schultz reporting was published, the real rapist turned himself in. For the series, she was honored with journalism's awards from both Harvard and Columbia universities, and she won the National Headliner Awards Best of Show. 2 years later, in 2005, Ms. Schultz won the Pulitzer Prize for Commentary. In announcing the award, the Pulitzer judges recognized her work as providing a voice for the underdog and underprivileged. Among her other award-winning works is an essay about a girl's coming to terms with her homosexuality, which appeared in the book 2002 Best Newspaper Writing. And in 2011 series, Unfinished Business, which examined the long-term impact of Agent Orange in the United States and Vietnam. For Unfinished Business, she won the Associated Press Managing Editor's Journalism Excellence Award in International Perspective. Ms. Schultz has also been honored with the prestigious James Batten Medal, recognizing a body of journalistic work that reflects compassion, courage, humanity, and a deep concern for the underdog. Ms. Schultz's writing has appeared in the New York Times, the Washington Post, Political, Parade, The Atlantic, ESPN Magazine, and Democracy Journal, among many others. Random House has published 2 of her books. The first, Life Happens and Other Unavoidable Truths, as a collection of essays, and the second, And His Lovely Wife, a campaign memoir about the woman beside the man. This critically acclaimed memoir followed her husband, Sherrod Brown's successful 2006 campaign to be elected as the first Ohio Democrat in 14 years in the U.S. Senate. Writing as both a supportive spouse and as a feminist with a career of her own, the memoir was praised by Booklist as a revealing and amusing look at campaigns from a wife's perspective. It is indeed my honor and pleasure to welcome the speaker for Tiffin University's 129th commencement, Ms. Connie Schultz.
Thank you, Claire. Madam President, where are you? There you are. The Board of Trustees, faculty and administrators, parents, grandparents, and other family members, staff, all, especially the people that we don't see in this moment who have made this day possible for all of you, and of course, graduates. I want to ask of you, if you would please, first of the students, how many of you are the first of your family to go to college? Could you stand, please, if you're able? Look at that. Keep standing for just a moment, please. Faculty and administrators, how many of you are the first in your family to go to college? Could you stand, please? There we go. And finally, members of the audience, if you're the first in your family to go to college, would you please stand if you're able? All right, thank you. Well, I am one of you. In the fall of 1975, my parents helped me load the trunk of their Chevy Cavalier before driving 75 miles from my hometown to Kent State, where the size of the student enrollment was slightly less than the population of my hometown. I was so scared. After they moved me into my dorm room, I walked my parents back to their car, and we all lingered a bit. This, after months of my insisting to anybody who would listen that I couldn't wait to leave my small town life behind. My mother was unusually tearful, reminding me to write. My father offered his version of a hug. You've all seen that. It looks like he's putting out a campfire with both of his hands on my back. And his only advice was this: do not blow this. I was the first in my family to go to college, as I said. From my earliest years in elementary school, my parents talked about when, not if, I would go. Chuck and Janie Schultz thought they were 2 nobodies, but they were going to raise 4 somebodies. On that fall day in 1975, their hopes and dreams could be summed up in 6 words: our daughter is going to college. My mom was a nurse's aide. The summer before I left for Kent, I worked as a waitress, and that was the first time I thought about what those 8-hour hospital shifts were doing to my mother. She'd leave before sunrise, wearing a uniform the color of butter, and return late afternoon, taking time only to change her clothes before she started to cook supper. The one time I dared to complain about my swollen feet, she didn't reprimand me, and she didn't remind me of how much harder it was for her to work all day long, every day, for years, on her feet. She just continued to stand at the stove and stir the pot as she turned to me with a tired smile and said, "And that is why you're going to college." My dad worked at the power plant, Cleveland Electric Illuminating Company. He worked there for 36 years. So many times when I was young, we would turn on a light switch and my mother would say, "Thank your daddy for that electricity." When I was little, I imagined my father harnessing lightning bolts out of the sky and throwing them to our house. My dad was one of those guys who showered after work at the plant. During the summer months, I would often sit on the front porch swing and I would wait for the sound of crunching cinders in the driveway, which was the signal that Dad was home. So often, my dad would pull himself out of the car and at the sight of me thrust his lunch pail in the air. "You're never going to need one of these," he'd say. "You're going to college." I mention my parents, my roots for you, because they had everything to do with how I ended up here as this woman on your stage, as this writer. For the first time in my life, when I was in college, I entered classrooms led by adults who wanted to know what was on my mind. College was a place where the professors took me seriously. I can't overstate the impact of that on a working class girl used to being either ignored for her gender or reprimanded for her big ideas. My roots have everything to do with how I became a journalist writing stories and columns about people who are too often anonymous and almost always powerless. When people ask me why I keep writing such stories this many years into my profession, I tell them about my mother, and I tell them a story about her. As you already know, as I mentioned, I grew up in Ashtabula, Ohio, which is a little town people notice only on their way to somewhere else on Route 90. It was my job in the summer months to babysit my younger siblings. But at the end of every summer, my mother would do something special just for me. She would ask a neighbor lady to babysit, and we would go to downtown Ashtabula to the department store, Carlisle's, because they had a restaurant in the basement. This day was a very big deal to me every year. This particular year that I'm telling you about was 1968, and I was 11 years old. I had a toasted cheese sandwich, tomato soup, and a milkshake, because some things you never forget. I remember the waitress treating us like family, like so many waitresses do. And my mom and I had the nicest time until right towards the end as we were waiting for our check. This is what I also remember about that day. Our waitress was waiting on another table, and the customer was a man in a suit, and he was yelling at her. I don't have any recollection of what he said to the waitress that day, but I recall her saying over and over again, "I'm sorry, sir. I'm so sorry, sir," until she ran off in tears. My mother, all 4 feet 11 inches of her, not counting her beehive, turned toward him and tried to stare him down. But this man was not going to look at my mother. So she finally turned to me and said very loudly, "Honey, don't marry him until you see how he treats the waitress." What Mom meant, of course, was how we treat the people we're allowed to mistreat is the measure of who we are. Whenever we resist unloading our frustrations on someone who has to take it, we telegraph our respect for them and we affirm our own resilience. With every act of kindness, we make certain that we have not become what we most loathe in others. That lesson in that restaurant has stayed with me my entire career. How do I know that? 36 years later, I was standing in line at a coat check at the most popular party center in Cleveland. It was at the end of a long evening's event for a charitable organization. And the same middle-aged women, most of them of color, all of them earning an hourly wage with no benefits, they had all waited on us all night long, and then one of them was standing behind the coat check counter, waiting for the long line of people to show up to get their coats. Sharon and I were standing in that line, and I noticed as we were waiting that there was this big jar. It was a big glass jar with a sign on it that said tips. And it had dollar bills and some $5 bills. I even saw some tens, and it was filled almost to the top. And I kept watching her as she was waiting on people, always polite, clearly tired. And when it was my turn to go up and Sharon was standing behind me, I handed her my check and I said, "I bet you'd like to get home." And she shook her head and said, "I am so tired." And I pointed to the tip jar and I said, "Well, at least you get these tonight." And she said, "Oh, we don't keep the tips." And I said, "What do you mean you don't keep the tips? Who keeps the tips?" And she said, "Management keeps the tips." And I said, "What?" and I heard Sharon behind me say, "Oh no." That was on a Friday night. The following Monday, I called the party center and I talked to a middle manager. And she said, "Connie, nobody cares who keeps the tips." She was very annoyed with me and she started yelling at me and said, "You're making something out of nothing." And I said, I think people do care who keeps the tips. Well, in my business, as a journalist, you know you're onto something when 2 hours later you get a call from 2 vice presidents on speakerphone and you didn't call them. And you really know you're onto something when the first words out of one of their mouths is, "Connie, there's no story here." Well, there was a story. And when they refused to change their policy, both of them assuring me that nobody cared who keeps the tips, I wrote a column about just that. By 11 o'clock that morning, when the column ran, they had already changed their policy on the most popular radio station in Cleveland. And here's why. That is great, right? And the thing is, that had not, I was only the messenger. I'm not the reason they changed it. The reason they changed it is so many readers cared about who kept the tips. And they were calling the company. They were calling me. They, as it turned out, wrote hundreds of letters about it. Because most people in this world, to this very day, most people are good people. They want to make a difference in the world, but they don't always know how. And that's what I learned early in my career as a columnist. We don't just talk about the problems, we must address the possible solutions and engage everyone around us. And now, that brings me to a word or few about millennials. Most of you graduating, I think, are of the millennial class. It's young people like you. You're the reason I agreed to become a professional resident at my alma mater, Kent State. I knew long before I walked into my first classroom there that the growing body of research reveals you to be the most socially conscious generation since Franklin Delano Roosevelt's. You care about the world, and you are answering the call already to be involved in ways big and small. You care about the environment and about climate change, and you care about civility, which includes the willingness to engage with those who don't agree with us. If everyone is shouting, the only ones who benefit from the noise are those who get their power from division and discord. You, the millennials, are determined to decide for yourselves who you are and what you will be. You know you are not the negative stereotypes depicted too often in the media by members of my generation, the baby boomers. You outnumber us now, by the way. You remind me, your resolve and your character and the way you conduct yourselves remind me so much of one of my favorite quotations. It's from the late African-American poet Lucille Clifton. She said, "What they call you is one thing. What you answer to is something else." Your generation understands this to the marrow of your bones. Never has that been more apparent to me than in the last 100 days in this country. Our president has called us journalists the enemy of the people. He has called us, and I quote, "disgusting, horrible people, the most dishonest people I have ever met." I know that journalists in America, practicing the strongest tenets and upholding the highest standards of journalists, are patriots just like you. And in response, my students, our country's future journalists, have doubled down in their resolve, not from a place of partisan politics, but because they know that a strong democracy cannot exist without a thriving and independent press. My students also know this, that holding government officials accountable is not a grudge match, and committing strong journalism is not an act of revenge. We are mandated by the First Amendment to do our job. I am not going to tell you now how to live your lives. I do, however, have a few requests. Number one, of course, I'm going to tell you a story, but it's a short one, and it's, to us, a very sad one. A dear friend of ours a few weeks ago, in his early 60s, was driving down a 2-lane road, and a 21-year-old who was texting collided with him. Both of them are dead. I am pleading with you, don't text and drive. This room is full of people who want you to live long and healthy lives. As I tell our own grown children when they start to argue with me about this, if a United States Senator can stay off the phone when he's driving, so can you. Number 2, more than any other group of readers, I know that you understand the difference between real news and what too often is being called fake news, when what it really is propaganda, both from the left and from the right. I am asking not only that you acknowledge that you understand that, but that you share your wisdom and your knowledge on social media, with your coworkers, among your friends. You are our greatest asset in educating the public, because an uneducated public will lead to the demise of a country that we love for various reasons. Finally, I'm going to ask that you become, I suspect so many of you already are, activists for kindness. I told you the story about my mother and that man yelling at the waitress, and that other story about the tip jar, because we can make a difference every time we decide to be an activist for kindness. And while your plans for what comes next professionally may be very uncertain, I have a lot of seniors right now. I know how nervous they are. I know how anxious you can be right now. But this is something you can do in your life right now. Every person who waits on you, almost all of them hourly wage earners, are just like you. They may not have college degrees like you, but they are people who have dreams just like you, and they have families. They have people they love and people who love them just like you. What I am asking you today is that for them, for the unnamed majority of people that we encounter in America, I'm asking that you become activists for kindness. Not the mindless, have a nice day. Rather, know the names of the people you see every day. Learn them. If you always go to the same coffee shop, know the names of the people behind the counter. The janitors cleaning where you work or live, ask them their names. If you have a guard at the front desk of your next place of employment, get to know him or her, because they all do have names, and so do you. Here's why I'm so hopeful still about the world, and this involves every single person in this room right now. Every day we get up and we answer the same question, even if we don't really know it. The question is this: is this the day we give up? Is this the day we quit caring? Is this the day we decide the fight is now somebody else's? Or do we get out of bed and do we decide today is the day I fight on and that I carry on? Every single person in this room today had the right answer to that question, because here you are. You too have a story to tell. You've already, the youngest in this room of these adults. I love the sound of trains, by the way. I grew up by tracks. I feel like I'm home. You've already had to make countless decisions about whether you will be bitter about something that has happened into your life or that you will move on. Keep in mind that definition of resentment, which I have held dear in tough times. It's when you drink the poison and expect someone else to hurt. It doesn't work that way, and it whittles away at you. I want to end with one more story. This one about my husband, Sherrod, and his mother, Emily Campbell Brown. Emily Brown was born in Mansfield, Georgia, and became a civil rights activist after marrying her husband and moving to Mansfield, Ohio. She never lost her Southern accent or her grit. In the last weeks of 2008, during the presidential race, she was determined to live to see the election and the swearing in of the first African-American president of the United States, even after she was diagnosed with a terminal disease that raged through her with the fury and force of a hurricane. On Inauguration Day, she insisted that Sherrod and I attend, and we did, and she watched the inauguration in a little TV set in her living room right at the foot of her hospital bed, because she was in hospice care at that point. And in the last couple of weeks of her life, Sherrod and I were there much of the time to help care for her. Any of you who have ever had someone you love in hospice care know, first of all, how wonderful the people are who work for hospice and how much it depends on family members to make the care whole. One afternoon, I was sitting at the dining room table and I could watch her in her bed as Sherrod was standing by her, and she said to Sherrod, "Oh, Sherrod, I would love to hear a song from our Lutheran hymnal." Sherrod, being the ever-dutiful youngest son, went in the family library and came back out with the Lutheran hymnal and proceeded to sing 3 verses of Beautiful Savior. Some of you have heard Sherrod speak. He talks like this. He sings like this, too. Beautiful Savior. And I love his voice. And I watched as he was standing over his mother, singing to her, and it was so moving. And then the very next day, she said, "Oh, Sharon, I wish our friend Janine were here." Well, Janine is the best singer we've ever known. She's a family friend. And Sharon said, "Well, Mother, why is that?" And she said, "I would love to hear Janine sing Beautiful Savior." And Sharon said to her, "Well, Mother, I just sang 3 verses yesterday, Beautiful Savior. Don't you remember?" And she said, "I know, honey. You're better in a group." Well, aren't we all? I hope one of the things you do as you get ready to leave here and embark on the next leg of your life, if you don't already have it, find your own tribe. We all need our cheerleaders. We all need someone who believes in us, and it's a wonderful feeling to believe in others. Some of the people I was most close to, not much older than you, remain members of my tribe to this day, and I'm going to be 60 this year. We do need others, and I wish only the best for you, and on behalf of so many, I'm sure, who are feeling the same thing, I am so grateful you are about to join us in the world, because my Lord, do we need you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ms. Schultz. It is really wonderful to have you with us today and sharing your words of wisdom and your journey of hope. And the whole words of when, not if, is very powerful. And today, for our graduates, it's when, not if. So it's a great day to be a Tiffin University graduate and a great day to be a dragon. I would like to now introduce and have come to the podium Tiffin University's Dean of Students, Professor Mike Herdlick, to please come forward and present the Student Leadership Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations to all the graduates. The Student Leadership Award is presenting to a graduating senior in a baccalaureate program who has demonstrated scholastic achievement, participation in extracurricular activities within the TU community, and communication with other students as a leader on campus. This young lady has navigated the waters of college during her 4 years at Tiffin University by serving as a head resident on campus, as an integral member of her sorority, as the cheerleading captain, and as a mentor for our area youth. She has accomplished all of this while maintaining an astonishing grade point average of 3.96 in 2 separate degree programs. In addition, she was able to garner internships with the IRS Criminal Investigative Division and with a private accounting service, demonstrating her commitment to her respective studies. One of our staff members commented that she is an ideal role model for Tiffin University, who makes everyone raise their heads a little higher and stand a little taller. For me, she is compassionate beyond her years, displays her vulnerability, which makes her truly human and very genuine, that enables her to be approachable and trustworthy. These are qualities that we should all aspire to possess and to demonstrate. I will always treasure our talks and memories together, whether we're sitting in the Hayes courtyard, at a Cleveland Indians game, sharing a meal, or just stopping in the office to see how I was doing, constantly placing the well-being of others above herself. My life is much richer because of her, as she truly exemplifies what it means to be a Tiffin dragon. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud and honored to present the Tiffin University Student Leadership Award to Ms. Cassandra Eschweiler.
Thank you, Dean Herdlick. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Kevin Cashin, Dean for the School of Criminal Justice and Social Sciences.
Thank you, Dr. Holbrook. It's my honor to present Tiffin University's Scholar Athlete Award. This award is given to a graduating student in a baccalaureate program who has a 3.5 cumulative grade point average or higher, has played intercollegiate athletics for 4 years, and in their senior year participated as a starter in 75% of the team's games. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's recipient of the Scholar Athlete Award is Brianna Nauman. Brianna is the daughter of Brian and Belinda Nauman and earned a 3.95 GPA in education, taking a heavy course load in science in order to teach middle school science. Brianna's academic program requires 140 credit hours, far exceeding the average 121 credit hours for graduation. She is one of the best post players Tiffin University's women's basketball has produced in the Division II era, scoring 1,262 points, 6 all-time for Tiffin University, 774 rebounds, 4th all-time for Tiffin University. She is the second in Tiffin University D2 history in both points and rebounds. Brianna made the Dean's List every semester of her TU academic career and is a 3-time GLIAC Academic Award honoree. Congratulations, Brianna.
Thank you, Dean Cashin. It is now my pleasure to invite today's presenter to come forward, Professor Nick Reinard, Assistant Professor of Social Sciences. Will Dr. Joyce Hall Yates, Dean for the School of Arts and Sciences, please proceed to the diploma table. At this time, Tiffin University would like to recognize for graduation 4 of our women's lacrosse student athletes. These students will be leaving early from today's commencement so that they can depart in time to reach their conference championship game near St. Louis, Missouri. These 4 students are typical of most of our students, as they not only show dedication in the classroom, but in a variety of extracurricular activities that display leadership and commitment for the greater good. All 4 student athletes, by the way, are academic honorees in the conference.
Gina M. Oblong, cum laude. Randy Elizabeth Casper. Victoria Elizabeth Nelson, magna cum laude. Morgan Evangelina Shirley.
Will the candidates for Bachelor of Arts degree, except for majors in psychology and government and national security, please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the Bachelor of Arts degree for the following individuals.
Justin P. Bailey, cum laude. Sophie Margaret Bond, summa cum laude. Caitlin N. Beeler, summa cum laude. Patrick Allen Boggs. Alyssa Sierra Bray. Courtney Ann Bronco, cum laude. Logan Phillip Brucher. Nicholas James Buchanan, summa cum laude. Kayla Ann Draper. Daniel Drockton, magna cum laude. Roy Cordell Edwards. Nico Hudson. Hannah Catherine Hunt. Brianna Lee Norman, summa cum laude. Teo Toussaint Manchon. Alexandria Rose Miglin. Laura Miller, summa cum laude. Jamila Miriam Nabolsi, summa cum laude. Emily Rochelle Pender, magna cum laude. Jalen Joseph Santoro, cum laude. Tony Lamar Shed, Jr. Colin Michael Tysinski. Colton Wharton, magna cum laude. Victoria Grace Edwards, cum laude. Muhammad Hamed El-Ghamdi. Jessica Lee Badio. Matthew Richard Campbell.
Will the candidates for Bachelor of Science degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the Bachelor of Science degrees for the following individuals. Will Dr. Terry Sullivan, Dean for the School of Business, please proceed to the diploma table?
Jared Frisman. Jacob Paul Gabers, summa cum laude. Shantae Catherine Hopper, magna cum laude. Kara Teresa Manzo, cum laude. Willie Lloyd Mays III. Bobby Michelle McLone. Stacy Lynn Moe, cum laude. Lindsay Taylor Parsons. Samantha Caitlin Ringwald, magna cum laude. Stephen Joseph Smith. Kayla Leanne Sonnenberg, magna cum laude. Adrienne Rochelle Stanford, cum laude. Sophia Rochelle Nader. Nicholas Dinner. Catalina Rianne Estrike. Karen Yolanda Cobb.
So will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the Bachelor of Science degree for the following individuals. Oh, we did that? Okay. So will Dr. Terry Sullivan, Dean for the School of Business, please proceed to the diploma table? Will the candidates for the Associate of Business Administration degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the degree of Associate of Business Administration for the following individuals.
Christina Marie Freving. Erica Turner.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Business Administration degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration for the following individuals.
Mohammed Abdullah Al-Duhadi, magna cum laude. Noah Omar Alamoudi, summa cum laude. Osama Mohammed Al-Akhtar, cum laude. Abdullah Salem Alabawi. Naif Albakam, magna cum laude. Mohammed Solomon Al-Bathi. Saleh Saud Al-Dawi, cum laude. Abdullah Rahman Al-Fayed, cum laude. Shams Hamid Al-Fayed. Ashley Nicole Allen, cum laude. Lindsay Ann Allen. Yasser Khalid Al-Mansour, cum laude. Walid Mohammed Al-Ghamdi, cum laude. Mashur Al-Ghathami, cum laude. Fahad Abdulaziz Al-Humaid, magna cum laude. Abdullah Mohammed Al-Hamoud, cum laude. Saad Al-Shabri, cum laude. Solomon Abdullah El-Shabua. Faris Khalid Al-Kana, cum laude. Abdulatif Abdullah Al-Fanise, summa cum laude. Maha Isa Al-Okar, cum laude. Abdulaziz M. Al-Shamari, cum laude. Dagaj Bashir Al-Shamari, magna cum laude. Saad Al-Shamari, cum laude. Yazid Abdullah Al-Sultan. Abdulaziz Al-Qarari, magna cum laude. Abdulaziz Saud Al-Tamimi, magna cum laude. Mohammed Ahmed Al-Fawadi. Abir Al-Yami. Ahmed Abdullah Rahman Al-Zarani, magna cum laude. Mohammed Al-Zaltagi. Omar Majid Al-Zarani, magna cum laude. Samantha Lee Anders. Hua Yiz Hao, cum laude. Andre Carvello Landau, summa cum laude. David Fuentes Castronia. I can do this. David Fuentes Castorina Jr. Carly M. Circosta. Sheldon G. Clements. Olivia Kincaid Cobb. Erica Lynn Collins, summa cum laude. Austin Bryant Holmes. Hannah Grace Curtis, magna cum laude. Mark Richard Deitch. Amy Catherine Dennis, magna cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth DeWeese. Jeremy Brandon Armstrong. Bianca Abram, magna cum laude. Jesse Ray Babcock, magna cum laude. Mohammed Abu Bakr Badawat, cum laude. Michael Richard Bailey, summa cum laude. Basil Mohammed Bajaneh. Romel Tyree Bell, cum laude. Tia Blackman Mosley. Coy Justin Blair. Kelly Marie Blatnick, cum laude. Dylan Scott Bogner. Kevin Borst, summa cum laude. Chase Boyd. Mary Elizabeth Boyden. Deborah Joyce Broderson, magna cum laude. Wesley Anthony Burkhead, summa cum laude. Tyler Stephen Berner. Jacob James Butler. Derek Calderon. Desiree Dixon, summa cum laude. William Terrell Dixon. Nicole Marie Ernie, magna cum laude. Hunter Ray Evans, summa cum laude. Terry Evans III. Brandon Christopher Furston, cum laude. Destiny Ricole Flynn, cum laude. Samantha Nicole Lichty, summa cum laude. Luis Eduardo Ludina. Emily K. Mangus, summa cum laude. Augustine Mangone, magna cum laude. Megan Elizabeth McKenzie. Christopher Scott McCown, summa cum laude. Michael Ray McPeak. Trisha Denise Meeks, cum laude. Luis Franco. Candy Jean Frazier. Derek Goki. Brett Chase Green. Atif Hassan Hakmi, magna cum laude. Caroline Francisca Parkpainter, summa cum laude. Anissa Harris, cum laude. Kimberly Henderson, summa cum laude. Michelle Elizabeth Hoy, cum laude. Holly L. Hoffman, summa cum laude. Rita Ann House. Hilda Howard, magna cum laude. Clarice Ann Huffman, summa cum laude. Peter James Impellizzeri. Caitlin Lee Jackson, cum laude. Courtney Paige Kiefer. Derek A. Cobb. Garrett Anthony Casopoulos, magna cum laude. Kendra Autumn Landers. Ryan Nussbaum. Devin Michael Parlett. Ryan Eugene Paul, summa cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Helfrey, summa cum laude. Dragon Hesed. Kyle Andrew Pluta. James Pruitt. Sophia G. Ramos, summa cum laude. Jaylyn Randolph. Jamar Dwayne Randolph. Nathan Ryder, cum laude. Danielle Elizabeth Rohrback, summa cum laude. Shayla Marie Sammons. Travis James Salyer, magna cum laude. Jennifer Rebecca Sandberg, summa cum laude. Tyler Joseph Shepens. Andrew Michael Schultz, summa cum laude. Caleb Andrew Miller, cum laude. Azel Rufus Lee Mitchell IV. Rachel Molnar, cum laude. Esther Montez, cum laude. Sarah Nina, cum laude. Matthew Scott Noble, cum laude. Christopher Lee Novak. Michael James Spreptock Jr. Marissa Shipman, summa cum laude. Jocelyn Morrow, cum laude. Lauren Elizabeth Sprenger. Christopher Michael Tella, summa cum laude. Leanne Tobin, cum laude. Melinda Ulbrecht. Amber Josephine Wagner, summa cum laude. Robert Lee Waldron. Robert James Waldron, magna cum laude. Igor Zanardo Bortolato, summa cum laude. Lina Maria Hernandez Mosla, cum laude. Kyle Evans Durham, magna cum laude. Steven Gonzalez. Michael Thomas Hazelhurst. Andrew Holman, summa cum laude. Braden David Ward, summa cum laude. Nathaniel Maurice Washington. Aaron Lee Whitcomb. Elena Irene Whitman. Sharita N. Williams, magna cum laude. Meredith Ann Wilson, magna cum laude. Michelle Whitekeef, cum laude.
Will Professor Kevin Cashin, Dean for the School of Criminal Justice and Social Sciences, please proceed to the diploma table? Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts degree with majors in Psychology and Government and National Security please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the degree of Bachelor of Arts for the following individuals.
Jennifer Lynn Launder, magna cum laude. Melanie Dana Lumpkin, cum laude. Christy Marie Miles Patterson. Caroline Amelia Angelica Neilhagen, magna cum laude. Alexa Meredith Norton, cum laude. John W. Nowicki. Kayla Michelle Porter. Taylor Spang, cum laude. Taylor Stewart, summa cum laude. Wyatt O'Shea, summa cum laude. Haley Elizabeth Swanson, magna cum laude. Melinda L. Thomas Gerber, summa cum laude. Lucas Andrew Thompson. Rachel Mary Brosovich, cum laude. Jordan P. Cox. Sierra Nicole Cunningham. Peyton Spencer Delaney. Lexus Edwards. Carmela Kathleen Fabrizio, magna cum laude. Kelsey L. Gessler, summa cum laude. Alyssa Holland. Christopher Johnson. Madison Joe Lamb, cum laude.
Will the candidates for Associate of Criminal Justice degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the degree of Associate of Criminal Justice for the following individuals.
Brock Joseph Walter Tyson.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Criminal Justice degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the degree of Bachelor of Criminal Justice for the following individuals.
Cassie Catherine Allisberger. Oh, yes. Casey Catherine Allisberger, summa cum laude. Saleh Abduli Almari, magna cum laude. Omar Abdullah Al-Andari, magna cum laude. Andrea Alanis, summa cum laude. Tariq Aldarami, magna cum laude. Mohammed Abdulaziz Al-Duki, cum laude. Abdulaziz Fahad Al-Aziz, magna cum laude. Naif Mohammed T. Al-Harkhan, cum laude. Ali Qasim Al-Karni, summa cum laude. Saud Sam Al-Mutharbi, magna cum laude. Hassan Habdam Al-Ariski, cum laude. Man Ahmed Al-Subi, cum laude. Jihad Al-Yahya, summa cum laude. Abdulrahman Ahmed Al-Zurani, magna cum laude. Amir Samir Aswan, cum laude. John David Ayers, summa cum laude. Taylor Leanne Benjamin, cum laude. Brandy Marie Blanton. Brianna LaJoy Boston. Olivia Frances Bowman. Tiffany Kayla Bray. Trevor Brown. Joseph Norbert Bruning. Kara Leanne Carpenter. Erica Carter. Taryn Michael Davis. James David Denman, summa cum laude. Abby Lynn Veronica Ayersmith. Ariana Kaylee Edson, summa cum laude. Shelby Lynn Emery. Cassandra Marie Eschweiler, summa cum laude. Mariah Faust. Kaylee Nicole Franklin. Alyssa Nicole Gibson. Kaylee Gordon, magna cum laude. Santina Maria Graceffa, cum laude. Garrett Joseph Gray. Caitlin Marie Green, cum laude. Shay T. Greenwald, cum laude. Jeffrey William Griffin, summa cum laude. Michaela Catherine Groves. Troy Dennis Hall, summa cum laude. Jacob Paul Major Hardy. Taylor Olivia Hayes, cum laude. Kayla Marie Hughes. Jeb Charles Hurt. Jacqueline M. Johnson. Macy Nat Cole Johnson. Katie Jean Jones, summa cum laude. Vincent Andrew Jones. Jason Matthew Kramer, summa cum laude. Beata Ada Krabuszewski, summa cum laude. Caitlin Largent, summa cum laude. Mackenzie Lowe. Brandy Marie Matter, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Patricia Bauer, cum laude. Taylor Marie McCluskey, cum laude. Ryan James McGarvey, summa cum laude. Claire Elizabeth McKenna, summa cum laude. Anne Elizabeth McMahon, cum laude. James Bradley McMillan, summa cum laude. Taylor Murray. Sydney Evans Priest. Daviana Robinson. Tatiana Robinson. Eric Lee Rockefeller, summa cum laude. Dylan Wayne Warball. Brittany Ruth Shalero. Sydney Marie Schmidt, magna cum laude. Kelsey Lynn Schneider, cum laude. Rashad Omar Smalls, magna cum laude. Caitlin Bree Sorensen. Alicia K. Stanovich. David Wesley Stewart. Tyler Scholes, cum laude. Michael Joseph Taggart. Christopher James Terrell, magna cum laude. Nicholas Joseph Tomasowski, cum laude. Rebecca Lynn Sipple, magna cum laude. Garrett Joseph Bernot. James Ndogo Gandu, cum laude. Mariah O'Barrow, magna cum laude. Brenda Aburto. Kelly Panazat. Michelle Elaine Poe, cum laude. Sam Vingbenny. Tanner Angelo Vincigaro, magna cum laude. Jennifer May Walters, summa cum laude. John Webb III, cum laude. Venus Laverne Wheeler, summa cum laude. Madison Nicole Williams, magna cum laude. Paige Williams, summa cum laude. Alexis Ann Wubser, cum laude. Elliot Thomas Willem Granger, cum laude. Kayla Rochelle Wood.
Will Dr. Terry Sullivan, Dean for the School of Business, please proceed to the diploma table? Will the candidates for the Master of Business Administration degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher. The faculty recommends the degree of Master of Business Administration for the following individuals.
Tanya M. Adams with distinction. Kathleen Diaz Bautista. Misari Olenga Besinge. Jessica Holly Big. Stacy Blair. Asia C. Chambers. Chen. Tiru Chidabra. Cooper Conrad. Laura Sue Davis with distinction. Annie Ray Dura with distinction. Bobby Joe Fishers. Matthew James Franker with distinction. Monica Suzanne Franker with distinction. Hazem Osama Alzurek. Samantha Arnold. Randy Monique Backus. Courtney Bianca Fuentes. Mariah Christine Guards. Barol Dola. Christopher Paul Grant. Cristobal Gutierrez with distinction. Samir Habib. Calvin Harris II. Allison Ann Habrilla with distinction. Amanda Lynn James. Ryan Lee James Johnson. Sheila Marie Jones. Sean Tyler Creek. Linda Lawless with distinction. Amanda David Lee with distinction. Rebecca Lindsay Lang. Mian Lay with distinction. Abby Kimberly Lindblad. Nitesh Natel. Philip Morris. Ashton Lee Nanick. Saeed Abbas Naqvi. Flora Catherine Neff with distinction. Joshua Michael Osborne with distinction. Ocean Penn. Harsh Bakatum Patel. Patricia Rose Pedretti with distinction. Sonia Marie Jones. Kyle R. Judy with distinction. Juna Hartka. Stephen Matthew Kassan with distinction. Kartik Kokala. Tina M. Connell with distinction. Matthew Ryan Boyle. Jordan Pringle. Jerome LeVan Ray. Nadia Pushkumi. Kelsey Lynn Rose with distinction. Rose Lynn Robbins. Carlos Eduardo Ruiz Cole with distinction. Gopi Sarnavon. Heather Schul with distinction. Ying Shi. Andrea E. Smith. Keith Thomas II. Casey James Winkowski with distinction. Jing Shen Wu. E.D. Shing. Yu Jing Yap. Samantha Jo Phillips. Pedro Luis Vanisha Barber. Tito Hamid with distinction. Michael Bottomley. Jaya Balagapudi. Lindsay Michelle Wagner. Joseph H. Snyder with distinction. Amanda Elizabeth Sinay. Ricky L. Spears. Anthony Alexander Stewart. Andre Aldo. Iwana Balasa. Nadia Comanescu. Christina Dima with distinction. Corina Hodrian. Bogdan Haddad. Gabriel Hervé. Ciprian Librazano. Andrea Laura Manole. Lucian Mate with distinction. Daniel Nacho. Mate Nadef with distinction. Andrea Florina Tolaka with distinction. Tiberio Toluca with distinction. Victor Oregan Tecto. Lorencia Blanadad.
From Romania!
Will Dr. Joyce Hall Yates, Dean for the School of Arts and Sciences, please proceed to the diploma table? Will the candidates for the Master of Education degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher. The faculty recommends the degree of Master of Education for the following individuals.
Laura Rose Goshi. Trevor J. Hug. April Michelle James with distinction. Vivian Denise Jones. Jennifer Joseph. Erica Nicole Little. Tyshawn D. Lively with distinction. Angela Michelle McCullough with distinction. Sharon McIntosh. Denise Marie Orwick with distinction. Janae Lynn Retchel. Malcolm Kendrick Reed. Joe Lewis Dixon II with distinction. Susan Lee Sackett with distinction. William John Schumacher. Laura Ann Shannon with distinction. Samantha Cena Watson. Tana L. Watson. Brian Douglas Wyrick with distinction. Caitlin Gabrielle Bass. Crystal Coretta Crosby.
Will the candidates for the Masters of Humanities degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the degree of Masters of Humanities for the following individuals.
David Michael Ames with distinction. A. LaRue Basinger with distinction. Kristen Louise Brandon. Eric Edward Drummelsmith with distinction. Kay Graves with distinction. Elizabeth Claire Hanite with distinction. Nicholas David Janecki with distinction. Jasmine Courtney McCoy. Jeremy E. McShirley with distinction. Laura Elizabeth Rosenthal. Patricia Jean Seidel with distinction. Benjamin H. Sloot with distinction. M. Smith. Caroline Elizabeth Wilson Jogas. Teresa Yvette Mitchell with distinction. Estela Muzico. Devin Patrick O'Rourke.
Will Professor Kevin Cashin Dean for the School of Criminal Justice and Social Sciences, please proceed to the diploma table. Will the candidates for the Master of Science degree please rise and come forward? President Schumacher, the faculty recommends the Master of Science for the following individuals.
Christine Annette Bias. Waverly Sharice Barrett with distinction. Brittany Ann Bowersock. April Nicole Bell. Jonathan Earl Brown with distinction. April Chrisman. Aaron Richard Coy with distinction. Michael Darrell Cox with distinction. India Rashad Kraft. Melissa Ray Duncan Ziny with distinction. Sean Michael DeRocher. Lanita R. Faulkner Martin. Seth Daniel French. Chanel Jasmine Gist. Holger Grimm with distinction. Ashley Shay Hall. Tracy Jo Harmon. Kayla Michelle Hayes. Janae Colette Parrott. Misty Hillray. Mindy Jean Hohenfeld with distinction. Jamal Holcomb. Tyler Elizabeth Joseph. Kelly Kassler. Matthew David Keel with distinction. Emily Meisen. Jennifer McCall with distinction. Douglas James Miller. Kenyatta Deshay Mitchell. Faith Catherine Nicole Molar. Jasmine Monique Morgan with distinction. Emily Nicole Oman with distinction. Lauren Nicole Pierce. Brooke Nicole Radcliffe with distinction.
Yeah, no kidding.
Ariel Diane Scatia. Megan Elizabeth Schuster with distinction. Emily Nicole Sherwin with distinction. Valerie Seminar with distinction. Cassandra Marie Schwafield. Shannon J. Taylor with distinction. Slovenia Dimitro Ticino. Sheila Turner. Brandon Whiteside with distinction. Rachel Bernadette Whitten. Alexa Marcella Turner. Alyssa Aline Zagata. Alexis Thomas.
Thank you.
Matilda Muritis Zian Idris. Ruth Cora Jogas.
Will the candidates for the degrees please rise? All of you. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of Ohio, based on the recommendation of the faculty, and upon approval of the Tiffin University Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the appropriate degree as indicated on your diploma, with all the rights and privileges appertaining to those degrees. You may move your tassel on your cap to the left side. Congratulations. You may be seated.
Connie Schultz, Pulitzer Prize winning writer, fighter for social justice, a voice for the underdog and the underprivileged. You have demonstrated the power of words to impact positive social change through your reporting and commentary for nearly 4 decades. You have twice been nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, first as a finalist for your feature writing and second as a winner for your commentary. Your reporting on the case of wrongfully convicted Michael Green, titled The Burden of Innocence, resulted in both his release from prison after 13 years and the conviction of the real perpetrator. You have also received wide recognition and awards for your journalism. Just 2 examples include your reporting on the long-term impact of Agent Orange in your series Unfinished Business, and your sensitive essay about a girl's coming to terms with her homosexuality. In winning the prestigious James Batten Medal, your writing was recognized as, and I quote, a body of journalistic work that reflects compassion, courage, humanity, and a deep concern for the underdog. Your book-length work, published by Random House, has brought your essays to an international audience. You also courageously shared an intimate behind-the-scenes memoir of the successful 2006 Senate campaign of your husband, Sherrod Brown, while deftly maintaining your roles as both supportive wife and also as a feminist. Your career has been filled with accomplishment, from being the first in your family to graduate from college, to your subsequent work as a freelance journalist, to your writing as a staff member of the Cleveland Plain Dealer, and currently as a nationally syndicated columnist for Creators Syndicate. Your belief in education and in giving back to your profession has led you to become a faculty member in the journalism school at Kent State University. Now, therefore, Connie Schultz, in recognition of your career as an award-winning journalist, as an empathetic observer of the human condition, and also as a proponent of the power of higher education, Tiffin University confers upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Keep standing. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of Ohio and upon the approval of the Tiffin University Board of Trustees, I confer upon you, Connie Schultz, the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all the privileges and rights appertaining to that degree.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Want me to hold? Move over this. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present Tiffin University's Provost Award. This honor is awarded to the graduating student in the baccalaureate program with the highest cumulative grade point average. To qualify for this award, the student must have completed 50% of the total degree requirements at Tiffin University. If more than one graduating student has achieved a perfect 4-point, the final decision for the award rests with the provost. It is my honor to announce this year's Provost Award winner is Beata Krombrowski. Beata double majored in forensic psychology and corrections and minored in addictions counseling while maintaining a perfect 4-point GPA. She completed a 300-hour summer internship with the Cook County Sheriff's Office, followed by a spring semester internship with Offender Aid and Restoration in Arlington, Virginia, where they supervised a caseload of 60 clients. Most recently, she interviewed intimate artists, wrote a script, and appeared on camera for an introduction to a video produced for the recent Art from the Inside Gallery exhibit. She turned down an acceptance to a Psych D forensic psychology program in order to apply for a more research-based PhD programs. Beata also received the F.H. Cap Wilkinson Award at the Tiffin University's Academic Honors Ceremony in April. Congratulations, Beata.
Good afternoon. My name is Vicki Wilkins and I'm the Director of Alumni Relations. Tiffin University is proud of our alumni and we want to take the opportunity each year to honor our alumni and their achievements. The Young Alumni Achievement Award is presented to honor the achievements of a young alumna whose life exemplifies high principles and who is an outstanding leader in their profession and community. They must display strong personal integrity and character and volunteer service to their community and society. Unfortunately, Dr. Iris Spencer could not be here with us today to receive her award, but I would like to share some of her accomplishments. Dr. Iris Spencer received her Master's in Humanities from TU in 2009. Dr. Spencer is an award-winning communications and management specialist with 25 plus years of experience in the field of broadcast and management. Dr. Spencer is currently the president and CEO of Welfare Reform Liaison Project, Inc. On May 1st, 2015, Dr. Spencer's hard work and determination to help the least of these was recognized by President Barack Obama during a White House ceremony, presenting her with the Champion of Change Award. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Iris Spencer. The Alumni Achievement Award is awarded to an alumnus for their achievements, leadership, and contributions to their profession, field of study, their community, and their alma mater. They must display strong personal integrity and character and volunteer service to their community and society. I am proud to present the Alumni Achievement Award to 1969 graduate, John Lauer. John received his bachelor's degree in accounting from TU. While at TU, he participated in men's golf and he is a lifetime member of Phi Theta Pi honor fraternity. After graduating from TU, he served in the U.S. Army from 1969 to 1971 and is a proud Vietnam veteran. He earned several medals while serving his country. John was selected for the honor flight to Washington, D.C. for Vietnam veterans. John is the president of the Fremont Federal Credit Union Board of Directors. He was the 2009 Community Trustee of the Year and proud inductee of the first class of the St. Joseph's Central Catholic Heritage Award. John has been tagged volunteer extraordinaire in his community and his church. Some examples of his work in the community are Road to Recovery driver, volunteer coach for youth basketball for 31 years, usher for St. Joseph Church for over 35 years. There are so many organizations who have had the fortune to have John as a volunteer, I simply can't name them all. Please join me in congratulating John Lauer, our Alumni Achievement Award winner. And now, it is my official responsibility and privilege to welcome you, class of 2017, to the Tiffin University Alumni Association. Congratulations, graduates. It's an honor to share this very special moment with you. Welcome to a very proud, loyal, and global alumni family, numbering over 11,000 alumni from 28 countries around the globe. Your connection with Tiffin University does not stop today. Today is just the beginning of the next chapter of your relationship with TU. As a graduate, you represent much of all that is good and great about Tiffin University. Your past accomplishments, your future achievements, and the way in which you live and the values by which you live will reflect upon the educational values of Tiffin University. Consequently, much of what the public will read, hear, think, and believe about our alma mater will largely be based upon the actions and good deeds of graduates like you. From this day forward, you will be called upon to take on a new role, the role of graduate. The Tiffin University Alumni Association's mission is to be ambassadors of leadership, excellence, and service while maintaining a lifelong connection to Tiffin University and each other. To start you off on the right foot as alumni, I have a few things to request. Display your diploma with pride. Display it in your home, your office, or other highly visible area. Be proud and let your friends, your family, and your coworkers know of your connection to Tiffin University. Connect with other alumni and events hosted around the country. Come back to campus, engage with our students, and share your journey with them. Volunteer your time in the alumni office. And finally, make a gift in support of the university. Do so in honor to honor a faculty member who inspired you, or your parents, your family, or others who have supported you, or perhaps just simply out of loyalty. College can become a memory or remain a lifelong relationship, and I hope that you will stay connected. I would like to recognize a very special group of alumni here with us today, the Golden Grads, the class of 1967. Elaine Bach-Brader, Jim Gagne, Ted Kinsley, Sandra Lehner, Carol Manbeck, and Jan Sorg. It has been 50 years since you have graduated from Tiffin University, and it was an honor to have you on campus today. I would also like to recognize a very special Diamond grad, Mr. Russell Sorg. Mr. Sorg is celebrating his 75 years since his graduation from Tiffin University in 1942. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you to each of you for your connection to Tiffin University. You all are truly dragons for life. Class of 2017, congratulations on your graduation, and welcome to the Tiffin University alumni family. At this time, I would like to ask the audience to please stand and join us in singing of the alma mater, and then remain standing for the benediction.
We Today you got your degree. Now comes the hard work. All these people who applauded for you and cheered for you and yelled at you and paid the way and put up with these chairs for 3 hours expect great things of you. So do we. Here's what I want you to do. Take care of one another. Find a passion. Live it. Always remember you're welcome here. Inshallah, vaya con Dios. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude today's commencement ceremony, it is customary to honor these proceedings by remaining standing at your seats as you do now. Tiffin University respectfully requests that in order to avoid congestion in the lobby area, that when it comes time for you to exit, you do so directly to outside the Heminger Center building itself. We thank you in advance for your courtesy in meeting your loved ones outside the Heminger Center building for everyone's safety and security. The recession will now proceed.